Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going to do Makeup 101. This was requested by some of you, a sort of makeup starter kit, or like just some direction of where to go if you're a beginner in makeup and don't really know what you're doing, and you just need some help getting yourself started. So that is what this video is. Makeup 101. Every product I recommend in this video, every single one, is going to be drugstore or affordable. Reason being this is, I feel like when you're starting out with makeup, when you don't really know anything about product knowledge, you don't really want to be spending an arm and a leg on all this makeup that you don't even know is actually going to work. You can try new products more frequently, since each product costs less, so you can get more for your money. You know, Sephora, you buy like 3 things and you spend $100, and at the drugstore you can definitely get your makeup kit together much more cost effectively. We're gonna start with foundation, concealer, and powder. Those are where I recommend you really start when trying to figure your makeup out, because those are the easiest to do, better for beginners, and it's something that's sort of more universal for everyone. I will recommend some primers, but I feel like to get primer right, you have to really be aware of your skin type, and you have to know exactly what primer does, because different primers target different issues on your skin. Okay, just checked my frame. I was totally out of focus before, but we should be good now. So let's continue. So for complexion products in general, it's very important to identify whether you are normal, combination, oily, or dry, your skin type, because different products are geared towards different skin types. If you have issues with foundation clinging onto patches without any kind of skin modification, that means you are dry. Combination if this is only more so in your T-zone, and oily if it's anywhere on your face. Although in general, we do have areas of our face that are more oily than others. If you have issue with foundation wearing off throughout the day or breaking up throughout the day, you are most likely oily. A foundation I'd recommend that is pretty all-purpose, like as in it's good for all skin types, because it is not really recommended towards oily or dry skin. I have oily skin personally, and this foundation worked very well for me. It was very long wearing, and it blended beautifully, so that's how I know I think it would work well for all skin types, because it's definitely not a matte foundation either. So I don't think the dry skin peeps will have trouble with it. If you are looking for matte specifically, if you know for a fact you struggle with oil, I would recommend the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. This is my go-to drugstore foundation if you want full coverage, mattification. It is a dupe, in my opinion, for the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo, which I have loved for so many years. It is my ride or die, even though I don't have it with me right now. It's kind of weird. You think I'd have it with me, but whatever. And for dry skin, one I really like, that's luminous, is the LA Girl foundation, which I think I don't have. That I'm going to have to include a picture, because I don't think I have footage of that. Concealer. Foundation goes all over the face, really evens out any discoloration you may have, also covers up any texture, and just evens out your complexion. Concealer is for specific areas, such as blemishes you may have, dark spots, under eye circles. However, I will say you can sort of use them interchangeably. You can use a concealer all over the face as a foundation, so long as it blends really well. And you can use a very full coverage foundation as a concealer, and I do that personally, because I do think that they can sort of be interchanged. Remember, makeup has no rules, people. You can do what you want with your body. The NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer, which goes with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. So you may guess it's also very full coverage and on the matter side. If you want something a little more natural, or if you don't want matte because you are more dry, I'd recommend also from NYX the HD foundation. That has been a ride or die foundation for me for years. I think I semi-recently just ran out of the one I had. I finally have something to show you guys. The Juvia's Place concealer is amazing, and they have so many shades of this available. The shade range is wonderful for this brand in general for their complexion products. This is very full coverage. I would say it's even more full coverage than the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. And it is definitely on the matter side. This is available at Ulta. This isn't really a brand you could find in like your corner drugstore. That's why I sort of put it lower on the list, just because I try to put the products that are more readily available higher up. A concealer that I also have with me that is similar to the Juvia's Place in coverage is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Cameo Concealer. I'm going to put this in here because e.l.f. is a little more easily accessible than Juvia's Place. However, I will say I'm putting this one last for sure because I find this one, while the coverage is great, the long wear is great, but it is a little difficult to blend. So I don't know if I necessarily recommend this as the first one for a beginner. Face powder. You want to set your makeup because it can crease, it can wear off. Even if your skin is dry, you can still sort of move throughout the day, not as much as if you are oily, but it can still happen. And you could also, sort of touch your face throughout the day without realizing. Your face moves like when you talk, it moves when you eat. My favorite, or one of my favorite face powders, Coty Airspun face powder, is amazing. It has a weird smell. It smells like old ladies. That's what it's known for. However, they have a lot of different types. The two types I would recommend if you want more coverage. They have one called Translucent Extra Coverage that actually will add a little more coverage, which some powders do, in addition to setting your makeup. And then they also have one, which is this one, Naturally Neutral, which does not do that. It's just a translucent powder to set your face. It will not add any coverage. Another one that is also very good but does not have a smell, does not offer coverage, the Kimchi Chic powder that I fell in love with fairly recently. I love this brand so much. Oh my god. Blush. So for blush, my favorite brand for blush at the drugstore is definitely Milani. I've used them for a very long time. I have 3 of them. The third one is somewhere in my makeup storage, so it's going to be a little too difficult for me to get. But I have 2 right here. These are the luminous blushes. Not luminous blushes, baked blushes. You do add a sheen to the skin. They add a little luminosity. This is the shade Delizioso Pink. This is the shade Red Vino. If you want something that's matte, that's not a sheen, they also have these powder blushes. They're really pretty. I don't want to mess up my focus, otherwise I'd focus in because I just don't have a lot of time to film this. So if you can identify your undertone, warm, which means you have yellow in your skin, cool, which means you have more pink in your skin, or neutral, which means you're in between, then sort of you can do whatever you want, you're very lucky. It is recommended that if you do blush opposite your undertone, and that is the only exception. Any other product you want to do the same as your undertone, blush is actually the opposite, because the idea is you want it to have that contrast, so it shows up vibrantly. So like this, for example, is a cool tone blush that would be better suited for warm undertones. I don't think this is sort of like a hard rule, like your makeup will look like absolute if you don't follow it, but I think it's definitely something to keep in mind. If you want to look flawless and ethereal and stunning like me. Highlighter, I feel like, is more of an extra product, but I feel like a lot of people really like it and they're into it. And, it can also double as shimmery eyeshadow. People are into that. So I'm going to include it. So the Brand Physicians formula, if you can get your hands on this, I'd recommend this, definitely, for beginners. I've had this forever, so it's pretty dingled up. But this is the dingled up. Mangled up. I really can't speak. Why am I doing this job? This is good because it has every single tone. It has a highlighter for every skin tone, from fair to more deep. You want your highlighter to be a lighter shade than your natural skin tone, because if you don't, it's going to show up a very weird stripe on your face and that actually really highlight or accentuate that point. So you definitely want to be lighter than your skin tone. And this is good because if you're not sure which is the best one or which undertone you like, this you can sort of try and experiment, and you can also mix together as well. Eyeshadow. My favorite palettes from the drugstore, Wet n Wild makes really great eyeshadows. Their Color Icon palettes, I've tried several of them, several different releases at several points, and they've always been really amazing. Actually, I think the first tutorial I ever did on this channel is with the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. They are such good quality for the price, and they have so many different colors. Eyeshadow, I'd say, is more of an advanced makeup item, and it is sort of an art on its own. But since it's the more exciting part of makeup, I still wanted to include it. Eyeliner. NYX has really great quality eye pencils. You definitely want a pencil to sort of line inside your eyes to make them look more defined. I know eyeliner is one of the more daunting things in makeup. It's less forgiving. If a mistake is made, it could smudge everywhere. It could, mess up an eyeshadow look. It can just be a total mess. I would recommend a gel eyeliner with a brush that's like this. You can sort of see. It has like a tiny little angle, and that really helps with precision if you get an angled brush like this. If you think that black might be too harsh, you want to start with maybe brown, which I know a lot of people want to do because they think black, especially if you have like smaller eyes, can make you look very like squinty-eyed if you go too overboard. I literally just threw it out today because it was all dried out, but I'll include a photo. The e.l.f. This is a super pomade. You can use it as liner or for eyebrows, either or, and they have different shades of brown. Mascara. My favorite mascara of all time, which is from the drugstore, is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. It is so beautiful. It is very volumizing and lengthening at the same time. It is very all-in-one. It makes your lashes look very dramatic, which I love. Another mascara I love, and I feel like is a little more readily available because this brand just tends to be in more drugstores than Essence, is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. Again, between the two, if you can find this one, I definitely recommend this one, but if not, the L'Oreal one is really great as well. Lips. NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. I've used these for years. This is like one of the liquid lipsticks from the drugstore I've really fallen in love with. They have tons and tons of colors. Oh my god, they have like endless amounts of shades, and so easy to apply. They smell really good. They smell like a cupcake. If you want more of a liquid lip situation, I will say those are a little more, I would say, advanced than the other lip options. NYX's tube lipsticks. I only have a specific one from their Macaron lip line, which is like funky colors. This one's like a really bright purple, as you can see right here. They have a matte lipstick line that has more wearable, everyday, normal colors as well. Milani liquid lipsticks are really great as well. Also, Maybelline's lipstick formula are like dupes for MAC, I found, so those are really good also. As for gloss, if you are into lip plumping, if you can get your hands on your Soap & Glory plumping lip gloss, it is so good. A lot of lip plumping products I try don't actually work, but this one works amazingly. Bronzer, I feel like, is something more advanced. If I was going to recommend things to start out with, foundation or concealer or both, powder to set it, blush, and maybe highlight. Bronzer, I feel like, is something I'd wait a little bit until you are a little more comfortable and have something of a routine going. Because bronzer is something that if you don't do right can definitely really mess up your face and make you look crazy. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and if you don't believe I love it, this is what it looks like. It is almost completely used up. This one is really great. NYX Contour Powders are also good. This is the palette. You don't have to commit to a whole palette. They do sell them individually as well. Mine is completely broken, so don't mind that. But they have like a bronzy color as well. But again, bronzer is something I'd recommend sort of like later on. Eyebrows. I'd recommend between pomade, gel, and pencil, a pencil. I just feel like that's the easiest of the three. NYX Micro Brow Pencil is definitely the best one I've tried at the drugstore. Super great. I use pomade for my brows. I just prefer that, but pomade can sometimes be a little too intense a lot of the time if you don't know what you're doing, and it could be easy to go overboard, and you could have crazy, insane brows when you don't necessarily want to. Eyebrows are very personal, depending on the individual. Some people have a lot of hair and just need a little tiny something to fill it in, and some people have nothing, like me, because I shave them, and they have to sort of like do more work to construct an eyebrow. I did not do tools. So tools. The tools I'd recommend, hands down, from the drugstore, are Real Techniques. I have many Real Techniques brushes in my collection. I think these are like some of the best quality brushes you can get for the price that they are. They're so soft, they last forever. I've had this brush for, oh my god, like 8 years or something, and it still is good. It has not shed at all. And then beauty sponges, they also have great beauty sponges. They pretty much work the same as the Beauty Blender. I've really noticed no difference Like, they're kind of the same thing. You definitely want a brush for your foundation, a brush for your concealer, a brush for your face powder, and a couple of eye blending brushes if you want to get into eyeshadow. One that is more flat, like this brush, is better for packing on color. Packing on, like you want to add shimmer onto the eye, you want like intense color on your lid. And then one that is more fluffy, like this, is better for blending color in your crease. If you guys would like me to do on primers, let me know. Again, it's kind of hard to recommend primers unless you know like your skin type. That's why I feel like it's not really a beginner's thing. Also, I feel like in general, just to have like a million things to feel like you have to use to do your makeup is intimidating for a beginner. So I think to keep it simple, like you want foundation or concealer, or both, foundation and concealer, let's just say that, a blush, maybe like a tiny neutral eyeshadow palette or product if you want to get into that, or maybe forget eyeshadow, mascara for eyes, start with mascara, and, you know, a lipstick. Makeup has no rules, remember to have fun with it. That's the important thing. Totally. So yeah, this video, again, was highly requested, so that's why I want to do it. Let me know if you guys want more, like, in-depth about specific makeup techniques, or you want to see me do, like, sort of a one-on-one series, or on a specific application. Please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you like what you see. Share it to the world. Share it to the children. What the hell am I doing with all these brushes? And I'll see you next time. Bye, dolls. Mwah.